If you want to write good object-oriented code, you should understand the solid principles. I plan to cover them all, but for this day, I'll just take the L. The Lysov's substitution principle states that for any defined type for which there exist subtypes, any of those subtypes must be able to be treated as the original type without producing an error or undesirable behavior. In English, this means that if we inherit from a class, the child class should follow the behavior of the parent class. Another way to describe this principle is polymorphism, which is common to the C family programming languages and many others as well. It lets you define a variable as a type, such as gun, and then have other classes that extend from gun that define their individual behavior, such as a pistol or a shotgun. Then these subtypes could be assigned to the original variable, even though the type doesn't match. The polymorphic typing allows us to use the parent type, or any type that it is extended from in the inheritance chain, and assign a descendant type to it. What is really powerful about this principle, and why it made it into the acronym, is that following this principle allows you to decouple your code even more. The less any one class needs to know about the data, the better. An extension to this philosophy that I want to use for crafting the weapon system is called designing by contract. You can think of a class definition as a type of contract. It guarantees that specific variables and functions are going to be available based on what is written. And when a class inherits from another type, the contract of the parent type is combined with that of the child type. A kind of type that we can define is called an interface. Interfaces are like contracts for classes. They generally don't define any behavior themselves and are used to define what kinds of functions are available on a given type. Designing by contract means that we use interfaces as the links between decoupled systems. So if we want the player module to access functions on a gun type without needing any more information on the gun, we can use an interface to define what a gun is. Any class that inherits from gun is contractually obligated to behave as a gun is expected to behave, while allowing for variance in implementation. This is a really powerful tool, and one I myself didn't fully appreciate until I was taking college courses on proper design principles. Another thing to remember, though, is this is a tool. You can use a hammer to build a doghouse, but the second you want to paint it, the hammer doesn't look nearly as useful. Make sure you understand not just how to use your tools, but why you would use it in that case, or if there's a better alternative. A common pattern for interfaces is to preface the name with a capital letter I. This makes it easy to quickly see that a specific type is actually an interface, and that very likely that problem was solved using the design by contract principle. I want to give a big shout out to my members who are supporting me financially over on Ko-fi. They get to see all of my videos as soon as I am done editing them, instead of just one each week. If you want to support me and get the awesome benefit of seeing all my videos early, you can become a member for as little as $1. My current supporters are Noel, Miguel, Grebhoon, and Cody R. Thank you all so much for your support. I couldn't do this without y'all.